Welcome. So I'm sure you've heard of the words revolution and protest and uprising and backlash, and we hear about these words all the time, and we read about them, and we have access to various kinds of media, and these words are constantly put upon us, and we participate sometimes, but everything has to be revolutionary. Everything is, part of some kind of an upbringing. So what is that? Where does this come from? Where did this idea come from? So basically, something on the outside or something on the inside generates a feeling. It produces thought, and that produces action, and then action of a greater magnitude produces further feeling, produces further thought, and produces action. So it just keeps going. And that's part of the reason why revolution, any kind of revolution or any kind of mass level thought or protest or uprising has been so effective, because it has the ability to inspire and motivate and encourage people and encourage them to think rather than act. It has generated wars, it has generated cults, it has formed new cultures, it has formed new beliefs, and they are delivered to us with the various forms of media, such as social media and news media, and and it has grown, because maybe 30-40 years ago we had the media that was delivered to us was not so instant, and now we have all instant knowledge and instant literature and instant information. But where does this come from, and how do we acquire these notions, and how are cultures formed, subcultures formed? And the simple answer to that is the mobility of knowledge. Now, we've heard about things like economic mobility and social mobility and religious mobility. And in India, there's the caste system, and we have that mobility. But there is a mobility with knowledge, and there's a mobility with the way trends are set in the world. Now, I'm going to talk about a man named Marcel Griaule, who's a French ethnographer and social scientist who studied the Dogon people in Mali in West Africa. Now, he went there and he studied for 15 years, and he researched them as a participant observer, as an anthropologist. And as most anthropologists do, they go and study people for the longest time possible. They study their language, their religion, their beliefs, their ways of living, their economies, just everything, the way they work and the way they function. But after 15 years of studying, and mind you, 15 years is a long time, though people have studied longer. After 15 years of studying their literally everything to the core, this man, Marcel Griaule, realizes that there's higher forms of knowledge, there's higher forms of culture and myths and beliefs in this particular Dogon peoples, let's say. And he realized that the only reason now that he's coming to know about it, and there was this very old kind of like a preacher kind of a man who was appointed to teach him about this. None of their knowledge was on paper, by the way. It was all verbally communicated and verbally transferred. And Marcel Griaule found out about this, and he realized that 15 years and he's still not known enough about these people. And so they basically gave him this source of knowledge on the basis of the idea that he was there with them and he was okay enough and now eligible enough to know about this knowledge. And that's so close to the reality today. You need these kind of tools. You need access to certain kind of media. You need to acquire certain luxuries and certain commodities in order to get in touch with what is happening. Now, I don't want to politicize this, but a large part of our collective response, which is what I am interested in rather than individual people, because collective response is what brings individual people together. They arrive halfway, they agree upon something, and that's how revelations are caused, revolutions are caused, and the collective response basically gives rise to something that will be creating history, or has the ability to be etched in time. And today we talk about gender issues and women's issues and the issues of, young people and older people differently. We have these various kind of movements and various kind of acts of, protest and uprising, and it's all a result of mobility, because somebody who doesn't know about this has access to it, but nobody gives him that access, or he doesn't choose to have that access. So you need access, you need certain things to be brought to you. And that's why I say that, okay, you have to be informed in order to talk about certain things. You have to have absolute knowledge about something, though you can't have absolute knowledge, but you need these kind of facilities and sources of thought in order to have an opinion. And the world today is driven in that direction. But largely, a lot of our lives have turned into everything being on demand, everything being your choice, basically. So let's say you believe in something radical, something extreme, then you have sources of knowledge and sources of entertainment and media, films, books, late night talk shows, even social media platforms that can fulfill your radical needs. And so this on-demandness, I guess, has been it's kind of given us enough room to move around, but it has really not allowed mobility itself to expand, because it seems like we are just in the same place. And so when you talk about abortion and you talk about race issues and gender issues, really the same conversations are taking place, rather than something that's going to come about that's going to change the way the world is. And I guess we need to find that light someplace, and we need to find that answer. And academia probably has the answer, but maybe it's going to take us longer. It took 15 years for Marcel Griaule. It's probably going to take us 50 years, but I hope we're getting there. Just a thought, just something to think about. Thank you.